We'll meet some more voice actors later on in the course, but for now let's finish this section with a visit to the Alberta studio of Tanis Clark. If you're into action role-playing games and have played League of Angels, God of War or Genshin Impact, you would have heard the voice of Tanis Clark. She also specialises in children's character voices, as well as working on a range of general voiceover work in her booth. Let's meet her now.
I'm Tanis. I'm from Canada, and I do, commercials, business narration, audiobooks, a lot of character work.
Green, you're the one who messed it all up here. Get out of here.
Mama.
Ruiner.
Things are not going to get better with the deployment by the French Navy of the Marianne in the Arabian Sea in order to secure the access to the Gulf of Oman, putting big pressure on Iran. All these NATO provocations follow the publication of the Tanoa Papers.
They say when one door closes, another one opens. But when it comes to families with sick children, we are forced to close our door up to 45,000 times a year, leaving families to pay up to $38,000 just to be with their sick child.
Did you do character work first and sort of normal voiceover stuff afterwards, or was it the other way around?
My first job was character work. I got in with a company from China, and I've been doing video games and animation ever since.
What was your first character? Can you remember what voice that was and how you made it?
It was a little boy, if I remember correctly. And it was for an ESL learning in Asia and Europe. They do a lot of translations, and of course they teach their kids very young. So I really started out with young children, teaching them English. But amazingly, it was British English, not Canadian or North American. So they asked me to do a little boy, and it's actually been my most popular voice.
Hi, my name is Rex, and this is my dad. He's a scientist. We just moved to a very strange place called Passatown. Don't let the quaint small town charm fool you. Passatown has a few... a lot of surprises waiting for us. This is Mercury. She looks like a cat, but she's actually an alien. Mercury, you're supposed to blend in. Meow.
So how do you learn your character voices then? Do you just emulate other people, or just experiment or work with friends? How does it work for you?
I have different ways. There's a little young child voice I base off my puppy.
Really?
Of all things. She's this little 2-pound Pomchi that fits in your hand, and she's fully grown, but she still looks like a baby. So it's my little baby voice, and then mommy, then I gotta go to the potty, so can I go pee? You know, or, but mommy, can I have something to eat 'cause I'm hungry? You know, she's just like the little teensy frail little thing.
So what do you actually do in your throat to do that? Just describe what's happening there. What are you tightening up to create the child's voice?
Tighten up here, your tubes, your bronchial. It's more to the back, of the throat and more in the upper palate for her. For the boys, it's more to the back of the throat. I always find little boys, the placement is in the back of the throat. I'm not sure why. It's just where I place them or where they feel more comfortable. Certain characters can feel like they're more in your chest or they're more in your head. My vocal teacher from years and years ago, I won't say how long, he always used to call it your head voice and your chest voice. So if you were singing, if I was doing soprano, it was always in my head voice. If I was singing alto, it would be in my chest. So depending on where the character is, that's where they might lie. But little boys are always to the back of the throat, almost to the back of your head, and very energetic, very deep. So from there down to the throat, depending if I'm doing a young child or I'm doing a teenage boy like Naruto or somebody like that.
What about directed sessions? Can you tell us your tips to get through them, keeping your sanity and keeping the client happy?
They are daunting at first. I can remember the first session for a video game, and I was so nervous, especially when you don't know the lingo for the first one. And it does change, I find, from video games to somebody who wants a more corporate, used to do the more corporate read. Some studios even have their own lingo, I've found. But the difference there I really found was that some are more used to the older style.
Give us some examples of the things that you didn't understand or got confused by. Is it just like, give us the ABC or something, which means 3 takes?
Yeah, it's 3 takes, yeah. I did run into that in one session. But the first one, the guy says, "Oh, your cans aren't right." I'm just like, "Excuse me?" What? What do you mean my cans aren't right? But I had a back-facing headphones, so they came back this way.
Ah.
And he says, no, your cans aren't right. And I had them off center, and he says, no, get them on better. I was like, what? If you have a question, be sure to ask. But just be yourself, be open and relax. And directors are people too. Audio engineers are people too.
My maximum of people directing me in one session is 6. I don't know. Have you had any more than that? 6 separate people?
No, I've had as many as 2, but not 6. Definitely not.
All pitching in with their own ways, but you'll probably know that, especially with commercials, they book you for an hour and you've got it on the 3rd take, but they just keep on going, "Oh, well, let's try that. Let's try that." Is that what you found?
Yep. Yeah. You do it one way and they're like, "That's good. I like that. But why don't we try to, pitch it up at the end?" Or, if you're working with Asian, companies, like I do a lot, your manner of speaking is a bit different than if you're doing it for North America or for UK, especially at the ending of your sentences. You can't go up too high, so you have to get used to either being flat or going down a bit, but not too far. You got about this, and you can't go above and you can't go below. So that is hard to get used to.
You're right. The nuances of the way that we say things in England, ends of sentences in particular. Everybody seems to say, "Why are you going up?" I didn't go up. It wasn't a question, but it was just a sort of a nuance, So you've got to remember, particularly for corporate things, at the end of every sentence, you go down, which makes it sound boring for me. But if that's what they want.
That's what you give the customer, what they want. Exactly.
Customers always right. So, all right. So it's lovely to speak to you, Tanis. Give us a bit of advice for anybody who's about to start off thinking, "I want to give up my job. I want to have a home studio. I want to have the fun that Tanis and Pete are doing."
Get your training. Get that in first and foremost. Set up. You don't need the best kit out there. You don't have to go straight to the Neumann. You don't have to go straight to Shure or whatever you think is top of the line that you find at that time, because it does change. You need to get the training in and then get what you can and upgrade as you can. Don't go full time until you are so busy you can't handle the work as well as do your outside job. Go down to part-time first. Do it, 2 part-time, then go to full-time. But don't do it full-time right off the bat.
No, I completely agree with that, because there's enough work which isn't hellishly time dependent. It's very rare when you got a phone call. "We didn't want this in the next hour." So you can probably keep a full-time job and do some work in the evening or very early before you go to work.
Exactly. Especially just starting out. I mean, I found that myself. I was working reception at the time, and so I was always on the phone. So I started out. My second job was at IVRs. And I got known for doing IVRs, and got picked up by New York Telecom. Oh. So that was great because it was something I was used to doing. But then the character work took off like crazy. So now I'm doing work for Korea for a full series and stuff like that. But that's taken years to get to that point, and people have to realize you've got to basically crush it before you can actually go full time.
Yeah. No, absolutely right. And so where can we hear you in the future? Are you down for any video games that are coming out soon?
I am. I could tell you, but of course, then this message would have to self-destruct in 7 seconds. I can tell you my British accent is coming out, and you can hear me in God of War. You can hear me in League of Angels. You can hear me on Twitch anytime voicing for Genshin Impact. So, yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us today, and have a great day. Thanks for helping us out.
Thanks so much. Nice to hear from you, and I wish you all the best in the new year.